should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Right?
Welcome race fans out to RacinFreeks Xfinity Series at Road America here tonight. They're going to do 25 laps out here, and we've got roughly 8.5 minutes left in practice as these guys try to figure out another road course. And we should have Paul Zota in the booth with us later on tonight. But for now, we've got 11 cars registered for the session, and 8 of them have gone around this track and finished. Actually, they would have finished 2 laps because you got to take the warm-up lap before a lap will count. So these guys have are definitely going to struggle to get that car around the track. You see Zachary Hall already has the fastest time out there. Zachary Hall was last week's winner at Bristol, so should be another great race tonight for these guys. 25 laps. It'll be interesting to see what they do. We've seen some leagues take these road courses and do a mandatory pit stop halfway through. We'll see what these guys do. And I imagine they'll have to take one pit stop through this race. As we're watching Chris Gutierrez right now. And now we are on 57 of Jeff Gilmore, watching this battle right here in practice as we come to just under 7:20 left in practice. As we've got some new things we're going to try out here tonight with the new overlay. Thanks to Jason Allison once again for putting this together. Not everything is completely ready. We still have to work on some fine-tuning, but other than that, I mean, it looks amazing, and we're going to see how it runs tonight. We got some extra features that will be coming in the coming weeks, so great to finally get to use this overlay here tonight. Let's go ahead and watch Zachary Hall, and we're going to take you inside his car and try to get you a look to see. That is not the right camera. We're going to give you a look at the track as he makes his way around. It's definitely going to be an interesting track for these guys to drive. A lot of guys who run the oval leagues like to primarily stick to ovals. Some of them like Watkins Glen. Some of them like... can't remember the other one off the top of my head. But a lot of these guys don't like to run the oval cars out on road tracks. And that's primarily the reason I see why we have 11 cars out here tonight. But it still should be a great race up front. And we've seen We've seen some pretty good battles here with racing leagues, especially in the Oval Series. So I would hope that things would continue tonight. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break before we go to qualify. So with that, sit back, relax, and we will be right back.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. Is not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Right?
Have just over a minute left in practice, and Zachary Hall still holding on to that fastest time. We do have two guys that have not managed to take a lap yet. In 10th, David Everly, and in 11th, Tyler Conroy. And I don't know if we have Tyler Conroy on the track. So with that, we will have roughly 9 to 10 drivers here tonight. And we're going to get ready to go to qualify in just one moment, where we'll get to use some of this new stuff we have on the overlay. As right now we're riding along with Cedric Hunter as he tries to finish up his last lap of practice before we head to qualifying. Not sure how much time they're going to give these guys to finish out a lap before we go. And we are now heading into qualifying. As always, these guys do have a 5-minute qualifying window. So with this track, you're going to want to try to get those laps in as quick as possible. And I don't know if you're going to be able to get more than a lap or two in. So let's take a ride along with, let's go ahead and watch Zachary Hall as he put down the quickest time here tonight in practice. And we'll see if he can get the quickest time here in qualifying. As we said earlier, Zachary Hall did have the win last week, so he's got win number 3 under his belt, and he's holding on to that championship race as much as he can here. And as they're approaching the end of the season, I believe they have roughly 14 weeks left. And we should be seeing, I think with 5 minutes, you're only going to get about half the field getting a lap time in. And we got 4 cars that have not taken the field. And I don't know if they're going to get around the track twice to count 1 lap. David Everly, Jeff Gilmore, who we saw in practice, Robert Moyer Jr., and Tyler Conroy have not taken time, or are not on the track yet, as we're coming to 3 minutes to go left in practice. And we'll see if these guys do get some lap times in, as we're now at 2:50 left in practice. And I believe Zachary Hall is coming around to start his first lap here tonight. Real quick before we go to race, we're going to make sure we have trading paints running, because if I remember right, Zachary Hall does have a paint scheme. I can now find where my mouse is, drag that off the screen, and these cars should start updating here in a moment. Yep, they're going to start updating, so please pardon if we have some white cars on the track for the moment, as they're going to start updating here shortly. And Zachary Hall still looking at, he's the first one out there, so if he can't get a lap in, it'll be interesting to see. And there we go, we got our, we have our cars with their paint schemes on now. We have a couple more that are going to load in here shortly, but Zachary Hall is still out there trying to get his first lap in. And if I remember right, these guys are running about 2 minute 14-second laps, so they're going to be pushing it to get this first lap in. As they come to a minute to go left in practice, and we still don't have any times up on the track. And we're now going to have our first time Zachary Hall with a 2:10.7. That'll be your top time for qualifying, as they have 20 seconds to go. And Chris Gutierrez does get a time in, comes in second. We'll see how much longer it gives them to go around the track to get a time recorded. We've only got two. We got another one. Bob Skinner with a 2:16.180. And now Nick Crawford will be coming around to score a time. Can he knock off Zachary Hall? Just not enough. 0.3 slower than Zachary Hall. Nick Crawford will take over the second spot. Chris Gutierrez and Bob Skinner look to be rounding out your qualifiers here tonight. Take a look around the track to see if anybody else is out on the track. Cedric Hunter is still trying to get that last lap in. And we'll see if it lets him finish this lap here tonight and get his time in. Cedric Hunter still trying to get around the track and get that time in. He's going to come down the front stretch now. So I imagine he will be scored as a qualifier. Or excuse me, yeah, that is the front stretch. So does he make it across in time? He does. What does he get? Cedric Hunter with a 2:13.506 will come in fourth. So we've got our top 5 for qualifiers. We'll see how many guys take to the grid tonight. And as we head to the grid, we're still waiting for a couple more, or still waiting for a little bit longer for that qualifying time to finish. Only person still on the track was Zachary Hall, who currently holds the pole, so. And we should be seeing the flip over to the race any moment now. And we got a long wait here before we go to the grid. As we still have 3 cars sitting in the pits. Not sure how much. I guess maybe the iRacing is going to give them an extra 5 minutes, which is a tough break for Zachary Hall because he could have pushed that car around for another lap and possibly bettered his lap. And we're going to be heading to the grid now. And let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's grid. Brought to you by iBog. Zachary Hall will start tonight on the inside, and he races for Precision Racing Team. Nick Crawford racing for Lone Wolf Racing on the outside. Chris Gutierrez will start in third tonight. Cedric Hunter racing for Dre Motorsports will start in fourth. Bob Skinner will start 5th tonight, racing for DVS Racing. John Jones will be starting in 6th tonight out of Texas. John LeBombard will be starting in 7th tonight, racing out of Club Carolina. Tyler Conroy will be starting in 8th, racing out of Club Northwest. David Everly will start back in 9th tonight, racing for Dre Motorsports. Jeff Gilmore in 10th with Lone Wolf Racing. And Robert Moyer Jr. will start back in 11th, racing for Precision Racing Team. And that'll be our grid tonight. And it looks like we got 3 drivers not taking the grid. David Everly, Jeff Gilmore, and Tyler Conroy. So we will wait the full 2 minutes because we do not have everybody gridding up. It does look like Jeff Gilmore did grid up. David Everly and Tyler Conroy have not gridded. So we will have 9 cars out here tonight for the race. And the pace car was taking them around 1 full lap on this track. So in roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes, we will be green here. 25 laps at Road America.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. By being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Right?
These guys are getting near the start of this race. And Zachary Hall will bring these guys to green once the pace car goes in. And it does look like officially we have 9 cars on the track. Only 5 took qualifying times. So it should be still a great race as these guys are competitive all around the field. You definitely have your top tier drivers, but the back tier definitely has a lot of competition back there as well. So it should be great racing all around the track out here tonight. And we should see pace car dipping in anytime now, as this is definitely one of the longer pace laps around any of the track you'll see these guys race, as they went the full circuit here tonight in the Xfinity cars. As they go up the hill, they should be going green here in a moment. Pace car has dipped off, and we're waiting for the green flag, where Zachary Hall will bring these guys to the line. And the green flag did not come out on our screen, so with that, we're green here tonight. Zachary Hall up front, going to lead a couple, or try to get a couple laps led, as he's got that front spot right now with Nick Crawford right behind him. We'll take a look at the top 3 car battle with Zachary Hall up front. Nick Crawford back to 0.3 and a half back in second, and Chris Gutierrez, 0.2 behind Nick Crawford. So great battle here for the second place and the front and the lead. And they're going to all check up, and we got the 78 spinning. '78 spinning out. It does look like he's going to get control of it and get back on the track. Let's take one more look back at it, as it looks like he just locked him up going to the corner. He did lock him up into the corner. Did he hit the wall? He kept it off the wall, so he's not going to get a lot of damage there. Maybe burn up the tires a little bit, but he's fine for now. So John Jones is going to be a pretty far distance back. Or not John. Yeah, John Jones is going to be pretty far distance back. But he's also got 3 seconds. Or he's got 4 seconds now behind him with John LeBombard back there in 9th. And he's a second back from Jeff Gilmore. He's starting to gain some time. So he's going to catch up quick. Zachary Hall, though, is still out front. He's starting to put some time on Nick Crawford. Almost got a second on him now. Zachary Hall is definitely the car to beat out here tonight. Take a look back for our second place battle. And see once again, he's making up a little bit of time on Zachary Hall. And he's putting the time on Chris Gutierrez as well. We'll go back one more spot to Chris Gutierrez. And he's trying to battle back up front to Nick Crawford. And they're starting to spread out. As you see, Cedric Hunter is also a pretty good distance back. And you got Bob Skinner back there in 5th. 3 seconds back to Bob Skinner. And another 3 back to Robert Moyer Jr. So this field has definitely started to spread out, as Zachary Hall did get his first lap led here tonight. And we're on lap number 2 of 25 at Road America. And you see John Jones is going to get that corner like he wants it. And he is going to move up into... See if we can find John Jones. There he is. He's going to move up to 6th. So he's trying to battle to get back up there after an unfortunate accident on lap 1. Didn't take any damage though, so he is in good condition. Trying to get back out front. Zachary Hall still up front though. And he's losing time to Nick Crawford, as Nick Crawford is now down to half a second from him. Now I think we're going to see this top 2 battle it out all race here tonight. As you see Chris Gutierrez back there in 3rd, trying to hold on with these top 2, but usually when you have a car trying to hold on, it does result in a little bit of missing your braking points, I guess, and can result in losing a lot more time and losing your position. Zachary Hall is going to get his second lap led. We're now on lap 3 of 25 out here tonight. And Nick Crawford is still right back there, 0.5 back. And he's starting to chip away again at that time. And I wouldn't at all be surprised to see if Nick Crawford does make a pass and try to push Zachary Hall a little bit out here tonight. And I know Nick Crawford wants to get some points and wants to chip away at that Zachary Hall lead, so getting a win out here tonight would help him in that effort. Oh, and we lost the field for a second. When they come back, there they go. Zachary Hall still out front. He's putting a little bit more time on Nick Crawford now. Let's go ahead and take a look through the field to see if we got any other battles going on. Crawford back here in second. Chris Gutierrez currently scored his third. Cedric Hunter all by himself in fourth. Come all the way back to Bob Skinner to see our next battle with John Jones back here. And Bob Skinner's going to lose it in the corner. Keeps it off the wall, no damage. He's going to lose a position to John Jones. Does he get back control of the car before Jeff Gilmore catches up? And it does look so, because I believe Jeff Gilmore was also losing control of that car. As we go back to Robert Moyer, he did get passed up by Jeff Gilmore, so I don't know if he lost control of the car earlier, but John Jones now up into fifth. So we're seeing somebody who had an unfortunate early accident is now making his way up the field. Scored as fifth. Zachary Hall with another lap led out here tonight, 3. And they're on lap 4, so let's go up front though, because Zachary Hall is battling for that lead right now with Nick Crawford. So 0.4 back, he did cut it down to 0.1 at one time. So we're definitely seeing Zachary Hall gain some time in those corners. And I'd imagine it's because Nick Crawford does not know when he's going to brake or where his braking points are just yet. He's riding behind him pretty much this whole race, so definitely through those turns, Zachary Hall is beating Nick Crawford in and out of them and gaining a lot of time. And it does look like Zachary Hall is getting a little bit loose in those corners. So Nick Crawford may be sitting back waiting for that chance to jump ahead. Or waiting for him to make a mistake and lose control. And Nick Crawford's going to head to the pits. So our first pit stop tonight. Nick Crawford heading to the pits. Looks like he's ready for those new tires. We'll see how Nick Crawford does in the pits. See what time he pulls. As he heads on the pit road, gets into his pit stall. And I'll imagine we'll see that car jack up here in a second. There he goes on the left side, and we'll see right side in just one moment. And a 14.97. Gonna drop him back to 8th. But he's got fresh tires. I imagine we'll start seeing him come up the track pretty quick. And now we have Zachary Hall with a commanding 5-second lead, almost a 6-second lead. He is starting to lose a little bit of time to Chris Gutierrez, but we're going to see if he comes to the pits this time around on lap number 5. And we started to see Zachary Hall blink out a little bit, but he's got enough distance as he's got 6 seconds now on Chris Gutierrez, and he's still putting time on him. So we do not have anybody a lap down just yet. We have John LeBombard back in 9th, who is 1 minute 5 seconds back, but we do not have anybody any laps down yet. So we'll see when Zachary Hall decides to bring it down pit road, as I don't know if we expected to see Nick Crawford bring it down that early. As it does look like Zachary Hall is staying out a little while longer. Nick Crawford may have decided to get his pit stop out of the way early. As if I believe, or if I have this right, I think they only need one pit stop on this track. With only 25 laps, as now we're on the 20 to go. Zachary Hall does have the 5 laps led of the race, and he's got a 6-second lead on the 22 of Chris Gutierrez. And we'll take a look back in our field. Chris Gutierrez is scored as second at the moment. Chris Gutierrez started third here tonight, now sits in second, his highest position of the night. Cedric Hunter started fourth, now sits in third. Bob Skinner was just passed by Jeff Gilmore, who is scored as fourth. Started back in 10th. Bob Skinner started 5th tonight, is in 5th. John Jones started in 6th, and he's making his way back up the field, trying to get a pass on Bob Skinner to move into the 5th position. Nick Crawford started in 2nd, took an early pit, and now sits in 7th. Robert Moyer Jr. started 11th tonight, now sits back in 8th. John LeBombard started in 7th, now sits in 9th, and he looks like he's struggling to get around the track. Able to keep that car on the track though. And now we'll go back out to Zachary Hall, who started first tonight, has led 6 laps now, and is still up front leading this race out here tonight. And we're going to step away for just one moment as we're on 19 to go and Zachary Hall out leading this race.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Zachary Hall still up front now. 19 laps to go. We're taking a look through the rest of the field. And we do have a battle back here with Bob Skinner. See if we can take a look back here as he's on the tail end of the 57 of Jeff Gilmore. You see he's closer than that. Oh no, he is 0.4 back from Jeff Gilmore, and John Jones another 1.5 seconds back there. And we just lost the field once again. as we have a new leader. I believe Zachary Hall took it to the pits. Zachary Hall is in the pits, so Chris Gutierrez getting his first lap led out here tonight on lap number 7 of 25. Great job by the number 22 to get out there and lead some laps. And I believe this is our first Ford to take the lead. I believe Zachary Hall was a Chevy out here tonight. So we're getting a new manufacturer up front to lead some laps. We'll see how long Chris decides to stay out. And Nick Crawford is ahead of Zachary Hall after his pit stop. Let's go ahead and take a look back at the battle because they are neck and neck at the moment. The two cars that did pit early are right by each other in 5th and 6th at the moment. And they got the 82 of Bob Skinner down low. And that's going to check up the 32 of Zachary Hall a little bit and get Nick Crawford a little bit of a run. But he's going to hit the grass and lose a little bit of time. And it's still a close battle between these two, as they're now in 4th and 5th. And Zachary Hall tried to make the pass on the inside. Doesn't get it quite yet. And they're working on the 57 of Jeff Gilmore, who is scored as 3rd. So these two guys went to the pits early, and now they're making up that time quickly, moving into the top 3 here shortly. And Chris Gutierrez still up front, leading. And I believe he went to the pits because it showed him slowing way down. But he does have his speed going back up, so maybe he didn't go to the pits just yet. Nick Crawford still ahead of Zachary Hall. And Zachary Hall's starting to put that pressure on Nick Crawford, as they are now scored as 2nd and 3rd. Chris Gutierrez still out there. But it does look like Cedric Hunter went to pit road. So our top 3 now is Chris Gutierrez, Nick Crawford, and Zachary Hall. $17 to go now on lap number 8. Chris Gutierrez is 30 seconds ahead of these guys. Nick Crawford's going to get a little bit loose. I don't know if Zachary Hall got into the rear end of him and just snapped him loose a little bit there. But he's going to do just enough to get a little bit of a run. Does he get to the inside before the turn? As they're side by side. And it does look like Zachary Hall is going to take the lead of that mini pack. Nick Crawford loose again coming off the corner. And they're going to pass the 95 of John LeBombard, who's going to be our first car a lap down. Unfortunately, with no cautions, only local cautions, John LeBombard is not going to get a lucky dog out here tonight to get back on that lead lap. But Nick Crawford and Zachary Hall are battling it out, waiting for that 22 of Chris Gutierrez to go to pit road. He is still 30 seconds ahead of these guys. And let's go up with our leader, Chris Gutierrez, as he's led 3 laps now. He's been out here up front, and he's got a 30-second lead on Zachary Hall. That's starting to fall off pretty quickly, as he is going to have to pit soon. He's got almost 10 laps on those tires, so he's going to start to feel the fall off of that tire wear, and he's going to have to go to the pits at least once here tonight. Maybe he's trying to stretch it so that he doesn't have to take multiple stops. He has dropped down to a 27-second lead, so he is losing time quickly to second and third place at the moment. And let's see if Chris does elect to take it down pit road this time around. And did John, I believe John Lombard has decided to park the car for tonight, as he's on pit road still. And we haven't seen him leave just yet. And we'll see if Chris Gutierrez brings it down, as he's now 20. He's losing time quickly to these guys. I don't know how much longer he can hold on to that lead before they go by him. And he is coming down pit road now. So with that, we're going to take a break as we come to 15 laps to go here tonight on lap number 10.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
As Zachary Hall is now leading this race, hasn't been scored officially as a leader, but has put himself at the front of the field with Nick Crawford 7 seconds back, so he's got a nice gap back there. Bob Skinner currently scored his third. Chris Gutierrez did come out of the pit in fourth. Cedric Hunter in fifth. John Jones sixth. Jeff Gilmore in seventh, and I believe John Lombard has taken the car behind the wall, and so has Robert Moyer Jr. So we've got 7 cars remaining on the track with 14 to go. Zachary Hall leading his 7th lap of the night. And Zachary Hall locked him up a little bit. Is that going to give up some time? It doesn't look like it's going to give up too much time to Nick Crawford, as I thought we'd see him. He's actually going to lose about half a second in the long run, and that time is still dropping. But he's still going to be 7 seconds ahead of Nick Crawford. So let's go ahead and take a look back at the rest of the field as we're nearing the halfway point of this race. With 11 laps down in this race, Nick Crawford actually go up front and do another driver check. Started in first tonight. He fell back to second at one point, and Zachary Hall is now sitting in first. And I don't believe this is right now that I look at it, because it has Nick Crawford scored as second. He was a ways back after his pit stop, but he's now back in second. He's 8.5 back from Zachary Hall. Chris Gutierrez led 4 laps tonight. It started in third, currently sits in third. Bob Skinner started 5th tonight, now sits in 4th. He's a pretty good distance back. Actually, this is not right at all. We're going to do this differently. Zachary Hall is currently your leader. He's coming to his 8th lap led tonight. Nick Crawford is currently scored as second. Chris Gutierrez, who led some laps earlier tonight, we can find him. Chris Gutierrez is currently scored as third. Sorry about this, one moment. And in fourth, we have Jeff Gilmore. And fifth, we have Cedric Hunter. Sixth, John Jones. And rounding out your field at this moment, Bob Skinner. And seventh is battling with John Jones, trying to get around and make a move to get himself into the 6th position. Now we're on 13 to go. Zachary Hall currently sits up front, and he's done everything he could tonight, and he's put a lead on, a 10-second lead on Nick Crawford. So that battling out early, sticking behind Nick Crawford, letting him burn his tires up. And Nick Crawford did pit earlier than Zachary Hall, so Zachary Hall was able to get those fresher tires, get behind Nick Crawford, and push him around a little bit until those tires burned up and pass him up, and then take a commanding lead. Now Zachary Hall will get ready to start cross the start-finish line, and he does. We're now on 12 to go. He's led 9 of 13 laps out here tonight. Zachary Hall looking for his 2nd straight win here at Racing Freaks. And it'd be a good win for that Precision Motorsport or Precision Racing team that was started about halfway through the season and was trying to make a name for themselves as they entered the last half of the season. And now we have Paul Zoda in the booth. How's it going, Paul? Paul, do you get a copy?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was trying to get it set up here. Sorry, man.
It's all good. We got 12 to go. Zachary Hall's up front still with 9 laps led. He's got a 10-second lead on Nick Crawford.
How's the racing been?
Been pretty good so far. We had one lead change when Zachary Hall went to the pits, and since then it's been all Zachary Hall. And we're pretty spread out all through the field, as Nick Crawford's got 11 seconds. 11 seconds behind Zachary Hall. Chris Gutierrez 13 seconds back from them. And then you go 40 seconds back to Jeff Gilmore behind Chris Gutierrez.
I'm just waiting for it to load up. I know this is a tough track if you aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys struggle with it, but as they've gone on, guys have started to get a hold of it, and definitely the guys that have practiced out here are definitely making a name for themselves. As Zachary Hall goes to 10 laps led with 11 to go. 14 laps down, and he's led 10 of them. I'd say that's a pretty good race for Zachary Hall tonight, going for his second straight win.
How many cars take the field tonight?
We had 9 cars take the field. We got 7 on the track at the moment.
That's not bad for this track. I know a lot of people don't like to run these. This is one of the tracks we like running. I was out practicing on this track a couple of weeks back. I had to go around here in second gear just to learn the turns.
I've noticed past couple weeks with road courses, you don't get a lot of drivers out here. The ones you get out are either really good or they're there for the points.
Yeah. Sorry, man. This thing's taking forever to get in.
Zachary Hall now has 15 seconds on Nick Crawford. So as long as Zachary Hall can keep it clean the rest of this race, he should get a win out here tonight. And he did pit earlier than, or he pitted later than Nick Crawford, so he's got a little bit fresher tires. We did see him kind of push Nick Crawford around when he was back behind him. And once he got past him, he opened up that lead, and those fresh tires took control.
You think he has enough to make it the rest of the way, or do they need another pit stop?
I think with 25 laps, they have enough to just make one pit stop and be fine. But if Nick Crawford does need to pit, which he might have just pitted because he's losing a ton of time to Zachary Hall, he is on pit road, so maybe these guys do need 2 pits to make it. We saw Nick Crawford pit 5 laps into the race, so that might be part of the issue for Nick Crawford. And we see Chris Gutierrez move into second. I'm not sure if we're going to see Jeff Gilmore catch Nick Crawford, as Jeff Gilmore is, oh man, 1 minute behind, over 1 minute back from Nick Crawford.
Okay, I just got on.
So if Zachary Hall still has to make a pit stop before the end of this race, it could make for an interesting finish. But for now, he's got, that right? I don't think that's right. It's showing that he's got a minute lead. Oh, that's got Nick Crawford's time for his lead gap, but he's got Chris Gutierrez about 26 seconds back, so he's got a commanding lead at this moment. He could probably pit and still be out near the front.
Yeah, if he pits, it'll probably give him a chance to get close enough to him, maybe to give him a little heat.
It's a long pit lane here, so I mean, just slowing down and keeping under that the pit limiter, or I guess the pit road speed, can make the difference though with that gap that he has to second place.
The pit speed is only 45.
But for now, Zachary Hall staying out will lead his 12th lap out here tonight as they go to 9 to go. Maybe Zachary Hall did hang on just enough to not have to stop.
But he's got a pretty big lead right now, so he can actually back it off a little bit and save if he needs to. I think my timing hasn't updated enough. Is it still showing Chris, number 22, in second?
Yes, Chris Gutierrez is still on the track running in second. He's still 27 seconds back, though.
I was just watching Jeff Gilmore and Cedric Hunter. They're pretty close together.
Take a look back there with Jeff Gilmore.
Looks like Gilmore is coming in.
Yep, we see Jeff Gilmore coming in. John Jones is going to get around him now. Cedric Hunter is going to get that distance. And maybe the longer this goes on, I'm thinking we're going to have to see guys come down pit road eventually.
Yeah, it might shake things up a little bit towards the end, you know. Zachary Hall's got it sailing though.
Yeah, if Chris Gutierrez wants to have a shot at this, he's got to save those tires, save that fuel as much as he can, and hope that Zachary Hall has to go to pit road. Because if Zachary Hall has to go to pit road, I imagine we've got to see Chris stay out the whole race to finish up front.
Gilmore's just getting out of the pits now.
Jeff Gilmore currently 2 minutes, 3 seconds back from the leader. So he's holding on to that lead lap with 8 to go.
Yeah, 8 to go don't sound like a whole lot, but on a track this size, that's quite a bit still. If you're trying to save fuel, that's going to be a pretty close run. Says they had 60% fuel here.
Don't really have any close battles going on right now. But Zachary Hall is now 32 seconds ahead. It just seems like he's putting more and more time on that number 22. And I don't know if you're watching Zachary Hall right now, Paul, but it does look like he's not putting a lot of throttle into any of his corners, trying to take it as easy as he can and save that fuel.
I was just watching Bob Skinner. He just saved himself. He kind of took it a little bit hard into one of the turns, went through kind of sideways, but stayed on the track and back out running.
We'll see if we can take a look at that really quick. As there it is. He almost drifts around the corner there. And he said he's back in the grass now.
Yeah, he got back in the grass after that. He must have burned his tires up pretty good on that one. This is a really good track to run when you've had enough time and ran some laps and familiarize yourself with it. Like I said, when I went out here, man, I had to go in second gear and just kind of putz around the track a couple laps just to get some of the turns down. And as soon as I started building up some confidence in it, I've got lost on where I was and did the same thing.
And we've got 3 cars that are in danger of getting lapped out here tonight. The 78 of John Jones is now 2 minutes 15 seconds back. And did Zachary Hall go to pit road? Because I'm seeing his time drop off really quick. Zachary Hall is on pit road. And Chris Gutierrez is going to take over the lead for the moment.
And Cedric Hunter just passed the 57 of Jeff Gilmore.
We'll go take a look out at Cedric Hunter, who is now running in 5th after passing Jeff Gilmore. Nick Crawford was not able to catch up to Zachary Hall before he came out of the pits. He is still 25 seconds back from Zachary Hall, and he's on those older tires. And even after that pit stop that Zachary Hall had, he's only 9 seconds back from Chris. And I imagine we see Chris come down pit road soon, with 7 laps to go right now.
Yeah, he's not going to like that, getting that close and having to go in. Looks like he's pushing it pretty hard, though. It sounds like he's got his foot in it.
I'm not sure, though, if he's going to be able to keep it out there and keep the lead, because he is losing time quickly to Zachary Hall with those fresh tires.
And you can see those front rotors heating up. You see him when he's braking into the turns, them front rotors are glowing.
And this will be not Zachary Hall, but this will be Chris Gutierrez, 5th lap led here tonight with 6 to go. He is roughly 7.5 ahead of Zachary Hall at the moment. And just an update on the laps led. Zachary Hall will take the most laps led out here tonight with 14. Nobody else can come close, as the only person with laps led other than Zachary Hall is Chris Gutierrez with only 5. And it looked like he locked him up there a little bit going into the corner. He's going to hold on to it, though, and still remain out in front. And he's going to start to lose a little bit of time here, and it looks like he'll come down to 7 seconds for his lead.
Yeah, we can see Zachary now in the background.
Oh, man, he has clipped it down to 6 seconds just like that. So Chris locks up his tires entering one of the corners, and he's going to lose almost 2 seconds on Zachary Hall. One bad corner sets you up pretty bad for the rest of them.
Yeah, it seems like when you get that bad corner, it throws you off for your timing, and especially when you know somebody's behind you, you almost go into like a panic mode, and you really got to, settle down and get it back together. And then that little bit of heat in the tires too doesn't help at all. So hopefully you gather it up and be able to maintain for a while.
Looked like he took a pretty wide corner there, but he's still losing a lot of time to Zachary Hall. Does he bring it down pit road? He's in the grass, actually.
And he's coming into the pits.
Coming down pit road. So with that, we'll watch Zachary Hall as he takes back over the lead, and we'll take another break here with 5 to go.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
All right, Zachary Hall still up front. 15 laps led now, as I believe he's getting ready to come around to 4 to go. And he's got a 33-second lead on Nick Crawford.
And Nick Crawford's going to get a mirror full of Chris in a little bit because he's not too far behind him. And with Chris with those fresher tires, should be able to reel him in, but I just don't know if there's enough time to make a pass.
He's only a 5, it looks like 5.7 back. So I wouldn't see why not with those fresh tires. I mean, this is a long track. It's about 2 minutes to go around the whole track.
And Cedric Hunter, he increased his distance on Jeff Gilmore, and he's slowly reeling in Bob Skinner. Skinner's running in 4th right now, and Cedric's gaining on him.
Take a look at that battle right there, the 3-car battle you were talking about. Bob Skinner 46 back from 3rd place. Cedric Hunter now eclipsing not 2 minutes, but 3 seconds back from Bob Skinner. Jeff Gilmore 3.7 back from Cedric Hunter. So pretty close battling right there between those 3.
Yeah, all that is right there is somebody make a mistake, and it's going to cost them at that point. Somebody missed their turn and get in a little bit too hot because they're watching the mirror. Could be a big shakeup right there. And you got John Jones not too far behind them.
So, I mean, really, that 4th through 7th is pretty close right now.
Yeah, up 82 is off on the side. He just lost some spots into the grass.
Bob Skinner, let's go ahead and take a look to see what happens as he's coming down pit
coming
road.
into the pits.
See if we can take a look to see what happened to Bob Skinner here. As Bob has not had the greatest night out here tonight for DVS Racing. And I don't know if he locked him up or just clipped the apron too much, because he completely lost it middle of the corner. But he will go to pit road, and I imagine we'll see Zachary Hall come around and lap it'll actually be his 2nd lapped car of the night, as we saw John LeBombard get lapped earlier in the race, but has not returned to the track.
And don't look now, Gilmore's closing in.
Go back with Jeff Gilmore really quick.
He's got him down pretty close. And if you look behind Gilmore, you also got John Jones coming in a little bit closer too. This could be a good 3-car battle here at the end. Everybody looking for one more position.
As we're now on 3 to go, Zachary Hall with his 17th lap led and a 32-second lead. He's pretty much got this race wrapped up at this point. But we're not done racing through the field as Nick Crawford is up here battling with Chris Gutierrez. And if Nick Crawford isn't careful, there's only 4 seconds separating those two.
Yeah, as long as Zachary can keep it on the track and not make any mistakes, he should pretty much take this one home. Only thing you can hope for is if you're in second or third place is hope he's going to drive it in a little bit too hard somewhere and maybe get caught in the grass and lose a bunch of time. Give you that hope, you know, see the back bumper, start seeing that car in front of you.
And Jeff Gilmore had it down to less than a second for a moment with Cedric Hunter and has lost a little bit of time since then.
Yeah, it looked like Cedric was getting into a couple of the turns a little bit better. I don't know if Jeff Gilmore saw him and, you know, just tried to push it a little bit harder to catch him and heated it up because he was really gaining on him. And then Cedric just kind of you could watch him coming out of the turns a lot more easier. You know what it's like when you're the guy behind trying to chase somebody down. Sometimes you push it a little bit too much in that excitement.
I've noticed a lot of guys, they get really close to the guy in front of them, and then they end up blocking up the brakes going in the corners.
Yeah.
We're now on 2 to go, so next time around, Zachary Hall will be getting the white flag with a 34-second lead.
Bob Skinner is back out on the track. You know, 1 lap down, but at least he's out, going to finish it.
He's going to finish it, and he fought hard tonight. He couldn't get that car under control, and I imagine he hasn't had too much practice out here. As we saw him losing it a lot on those corners, but great for Bob Skinner to get out there and finish this race tonight.
Yeah, whenever I go to a road course, especially if it's one I'm not really good at, my goal is to just finish the race. Even if I finish a lap down, for me, that's good enough. Just watching here to see if Jeff can reel him in and make something happen here. But I don't know. He seems to be doing all right now, but he still has quite a distance in front of him.
I think what we're going to do for this final lap out here, we're going to ride along with Zachary Hall to get a last look at the track as he takes the white flag here shortly.
All right, I'll keep an eye back over here and see if anything happens.
As Zachary Hall's getting ready to head up the field to take the white flag, we are going to do just that. We are going to ride along to see how Zachary Hall navigates this track as the white flag is out now. And actually, we're going to go back and look at Jeff Gilmore as he's still back here battling, trying to get ahead of Cedric Hunter. He's getting really close, and then it seems like halfway through the lap, he falls off and loses all that time again to Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, he was reeling him in pretty good just now. He kind of gave a couple of tenths back just now, but I think he's going to try to make it happen if he can. So he gets right up on him over here. I don't know what turns you call them. Look like the S turns going through. He seems to lose a little bit of time for him right there. And he gets so close right there.
And it does look like Zachary Hall is going to be bringing it up the hill one more time. And there's our finish. Zachary Hall will be your winner here tonight. And with that, we will take one more break because these guys finish up their laps. And we'll come back and do a couple of interviews to end the night. We'll be right back.
And Gilmore is right up on his bumper.
Oh, let's go ahead and take a look at that before we...
And he was right up on his bumper, and just coming out of that last turn right there, it looked like he got just a little bit rough going over. It was a good attempt at the end there, man. He got real close to him.
We'll wait for these guys to finish, and then we'll go ahead and take our break. And we'll get the top three. The top three tonight was Zachary Hall, Nick Crawford, Chris Gutierrez. So we'll try to get our interview in with as many guys as we can tonight. As we're still waiting for these guys as they're going to come up the hill now and finish out the race. And unfortunately, Jeff Gilmore does not catch Cedric Hunter in the race, but he does put on a good show back here for the fourth position.
Yeah, he gave it all he had, man. He got up on him a few times.
All right, we're going to take our quick break here and come back for our race interviews now.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
All right, well, unfortunately, we cannot get any of the drivers into our broadcast room for interviews, so we're going to go ahead and go through the results really quick. Where is results? And it looks like the Chevys are going to pull out the 1-2 tonight. Zachary Hall gets a win out here for Precision Racing Team. Nick Crawford is going to finish second tonight. Chris Gutierrez third, Cedric Hunter fourth, Jeff Gilmore fifth. John Jones will finish in sixth. He'll be the last car on the lead lap. Bob Skinner finishes one lap down in seventh. Robert Moyer did retire early tonight, and I don't have officially how many laps he raced, but John LeBombard was one lap down from Robert Moyer. So we only had 9 cars take the track. We had 11 registered. Tyler Conroy did not take to the grid, and neither did David Everly. But actually, you know what? We do. I think we can pull down Zachary Hall. Let's see if we can get an interview with him really quick. Zachary Hall, you got a copy?
10-4, I do.
All right, well, you do everything out there, or everything right out there tonight. How was the car, and how did you like Road America?
I love it now. Oh man, that was literally a flawless race right there. I couldn't ask for anything more, and really the car was amazing in my opinion. It was really just saving your rears at the beginning of the run so you wouldn't lose so much time at the end. Man, that was. Whew.
All right, now this is also your second straight win.
Oh yeah, that's awesome too.
Now we saw some guys take some different pit strategies going in. I think we saw you pit twice. You pitted about roughly about the midway point, and then I believe you pitted again with about 8 to go, but you were already far enough ahead. Did you have any kind of strategy, and did you differ from that strategy going into this race?
That's a good question. Yes, I did definitely have a strategy going in. I was deciding because we could make it about 11 laps on our fuel runs. So I was going to pit 9 and then 8-lap stint and another 8-lap stint. But when I saw Nick pull off right there with 4 laps, I was like, well, he's going to have to make 2 11-lap stints. So I knew he was going to be struggling. So I really was making sure I kept the tires under me and kept that first stint. And luckily, I pitted at lap 7, and I was able to come out right behind Nick, and I didn't have to catch up and use my tires, really, and he was already on older rubber. So that played a big point right there in the race. And, yeah, I had to kind of differ, but I kind of stuck to it too.
Now, next week, you guys head to Darlington. How was Darlington for you? And, I mean, do you plan? I mean, you got to plan on continuing this dominance out here. And, of course, protecting your points lead. But do you have any kind of thoughts on Darlington?
Yeah, I really cannot wait for that race personally because that's actually my favorite racetrack on iRacing. Like, by far, that's definitely one of my favorites. So I'm really excited for next week. And it's definitely going to be our throwback week. We're all running throwback paint schemes. That's going to be really awesome, I think. And I really can't wait for that.
All right. And is there anybody you'd like to thank tonight as you take the checker flag?
Yeah, I would definitely like to thank Robert Moyer, my teammate with Precision Racing Team. We got a great team, me and him. He's a great teammate. He helps me through a lot of stuff. He talks me through it, keeps me calm. And, you know, he's almost like my crew chief, I'd say. So, and I'd like to also thank you guys. Y'all do an awesome job, and thanks for broadcasting, guys.
All right. Well, hopefully we see you next week as you head to Darling. Actually, we won't see you. It'll be live on all pro broadcasting. So good luck to you next week, and hopefully we get to see you in Victory Lane, getting your 3rd straight win.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night.
All right, and we do also have Nick Crawford, who we are able to pull into the booth now. So let's see if we can get a word in with Nick Crawford. Nick Crawford, you got a copy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like you battled as hard as you could out there tonight. You come in second. How was the car out there for you?
Ooh, yeah, it was fun. I was having a blast. I've already got 2 wins, and Zach's got wins, so it was real fun racing in the beginning of the race. But then, I stuck to strategy.
Now, we talked to Zach kind of about this earlier? We saw you pit pretty early on in the race. Was that your strategy heading in?
Yeah, like Zach said, we could get about 11 laps per tank, maybe 11 and a half if you're lucky. So I pit with 4 laps, so to break it up into the 11-lap segments to hopefully get out in front of them and make them catch up to me.
All right. Now, next week, you guys head to Darlington. How was Darlington for you? Do you have any kind of thoughts going into that race?
Honestly, I have no idea. I've never been there. I've only raced in past games, and it's going to be something I'm going to have to learn.
Now, we did also hear from Zach that you guys will be running the throwback schemes next week. Do you know what you're running next week, or do you have any idea on what you're going to be running next week?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with the classic Budweiser car that Dale Jr. used to run way back in like '06 or '07 because favorite driver, and I'm the 8 car.
As I say, go right along with the number 8. Well, as we wrap it up here tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank my teammate Jeff Gilmore for rooting me on a little bit. He helped me out. I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting. And once again, like every week, all the admins, Brandon, David, Robert, they make this league pretty great, and they do a lot of work.
All right. Well, once again, congrats on the second place finish, and hopefully next week we get to watch you on All Pro Broadcasting. Hopefully we get to see you in Victory Lane. I know you said you haven't had a chance to really run Darlington all that much, so hopefully we see you have a great run out there and get to Victory Lane.
Yeah, I'll give them a run for their money.
All right, and with that, we'd like to thank everybody for stopping by and checking out the race. We do not have Chris Gutierrez, so we were unable to get our third place finisher tonight. But once again, thank you everybody for stopping by. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks to Racing Freaks for allowing us to broadcast, and thank you to Paul Zoda for stopping by in the booth and helping me broadcast out here tonight. Paul, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, everybody enjoy your week. Hopefully, we got good races coming up this week. Got a lot of good competition. Sorry I made it here late, but I'm glad I made it.
All right, and with that, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you. We will see you guys on September 17th here with Racing Freaks. Till then, have a great night.
Night all.
You should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. And by being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. Because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. Right?